Hey, it's Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid, and I have issue number 47 of the Transformers. And this one introduces us to the Seacons. So we've got the Seacons, and let's see, Assault of the Savage Seacons. The issue is actually called Club Con, and it starts off with Starscream flying in, and he says, "I'm Starscream, fly me." And he, goes to a group of people, and he's bringing them to Club Con. Now, Club Con is an island. It is an island off the Caribbean, and the Decepticons run the island, and it's a big vacation place. So what we're seeing here is actually a commercial for Club Con. We're watching it, and at the same time, the Autobots are watching it. And we've got Fortress Maximus, Optimus, and Grimlock. So all the Autobots are back together, and they are on the Ark. And the Ark, saying that it's that's orbiting the Earth. The last we saw it, it was stranded on the moon. So obviously somebody must have done some repairs, and now it's orbiting the Earth. It has not landed anywhere specific at this point. And so as Optimus and Fortress Maximus and Grimlock watch this, Fortress Maximus says, the Decepticons have turned their island base into a resort for humans and are advertising it on TV? That's unbelievable, Optimus Prime. And Optimus is like, unlikely, Fortress Maximus, but not unbelievable. It's like, okay, I'm going to correct you. And then, they see the person here they see is the king of the island, and it's Buster Witwicky. And Fortress Maximus then says, "That is my brother, Buster Witwicky." And Optimus says, "More accurately, he is the brother of Spike Witwicky, your human component to whom you are binary bonded." So, yes, it's exposition, but Optimus is kind of a, well, you're incorrect, and I'm telling you the correct thing. I don't know, it seems like kind of a jerk in that way. And so they figure, okay, we need to get on that island and find out what's going on. How are we going to do that? We have just the Autobot for the job, and that brings us to everybody's favorite tape deck. It's Blaster. And Blaster is doing some training exercises with a couple of different Autobots. It looks like that's Outback there. I'm not sure who the other ones are, because actually one of them looks like one of the Stunticons, not Stunticons, Runabout and Runamuck, those guys, but it's not. I don't know exactly who that is. I can't really even tell, but it does look like Runabout or Runamuck. It could even be, I don't think it's Skids, but as they're, as you see those guys there, it looks like we've got possibly Mirage. That guy might be Hound, but I don't think that's Brawn. I think that's Outback, because he just looks different than Brawn. So Blaster's training with the other Autobots, and Optimus sends him on this mission. Meanwhile, we jump back to Earth, and on Earth we've got Sparkplug Witwicky, and he's fixing the car for Jessie, the former girlfriend of Buster, or possibly girlfriend or friend or whatever. And then something comes flying in and lands and crashes, and it's this like egg thing. That's kind of scare the crap out of you sort of thing. Well, the egg opens up, and out pops Blaster. And Blaster then transforms, and he asks for the help of Sparkplug Witwicky, who he does not want to give any help. He doesn't want anything to do with the Autobots, because everything that's happened to him bad in his life so far has been because of the Autobots. And so, he says, I don't want to help you, but I will make the deal with the devil in order to save my son. So he volunteers to go to Club Con, whereas Jessie says, I think they're looking for people who are a little bit younger. And so she volunteers to go in his place. So at Club Con, we see it's their island, which the last we saw this island, it was floating, it was up in space. And so apparently what they did is they landed it back on Earth. They made Buster the king and applied for it to be a sovereign nation. And, they figured that the governments wouldn't bother them if there was a human who was the king. So that's what the Decepticons did. and it's still this big giant base there. And Starscream is, he's been fixed up because he was rescued in the issue. Which issue? Now I can't remember exactly what issue number, but it was where Blaster and Grimlock fought on the moon. The Decepticons who were damaged by Omega Supreme were all rescued by the Constructicons and put back together. So Starscream he's put back together, and this is so Starscream here. He says something to Ratbat, and Ratbat says, "That's Commander Ratbat, Starscream, and don't you forget it." And, in true Starscream format, "I apologize for the oversight, Commander, having been so recently prepared, for which you have my eternal gratitude and my everlasting loyalty, of course. I'm afraid that my protocol systems are still not entirely back online." That is so Starscream. He's just, smarmy and at the same time conniving. So that is our Starscream. So a new batch of humans arrive, and with it Jessie, who is carrying Blaster. So this is how we get Blaster onto the island, and Jessie brings him to the beach and decides that she's going to go for a swim. And she goes out. One of the Decepticons, I think it's a Stunticon, says, don't go past the buoys, but, she snorkels down past the buoy and runs into a shark, and she realizes, and she freaks out and swims away. Of course, it looks like a shark there, but what actually it is, well, it's a shark, but it's one of the Seacons. And there's the rest of the Seacons, and they go by, and they go into the base underneath. So basically, if the people went out far enough, they probably could have turned and looked down and seen that the base was underneath that. I don't know how far they actually had to go out in order to do that, but I think it's probably the buoys. So the Seacons are on a mission to find something underneath the ocean. And so Jessie comes back out of the water, and she's kind of shaken, and Blaster, asks her what happened, and she tells him about the Seacons and that they're down under the water. And so she's like, I want to go and let's see if we can find Buster. And she bags up, she puts Blaster in his scuba bag, her snorkeling bag, and brings him into the water, swims down and into the base. She gets into the base there. And when she's down there, we've got Vortex talking with, I don't know if it's Swindle or if it's one of the Stunticons. And then she sees a human-sized door, and she goes through it. So, going through that human-sized door, she finds Buster. And there's Buster, and he is at this control area. Why she's wearing the headphones for Blaster, I don't know. But, she's got Blaster with him, but the room's too small for Blaster to transform. Buster he's tethered there. He can't leave. He explains to him about becoming the king of the island and how they, become the sovereign nation there. And then he also says what they're looking for is these two Autobots, these are two tapes. Let's see, it's Rain Dance and Grand Slam, who came to Earth, 4 million years ago, a few hundred years ago, some Autobots in Cybertron detected something, not quite sure what, headed toward Earth. And so they sent those tapes to Earth with data, and somehow they got blown up in flight, and they ended up as part of some pirate treasure. And the ship sunk, and the sunken ship is underneath the base. That's the story they're sticking to. So you got these two tapes, they're down there, and so what they're going to do is they can't get him out of his tether because Blaster can't transform, so they're going to leave before they get caught. And as they're leaving, they see that the Seacons now have that treasure chest, and Jessie follows them despite what Blaster tells her. So she follows them into another room. And as they go into this other room, Ratbat's in there, and Ratbat is talking to the Seacons to tell them, you know, he tells them that the Seacons tell him that they found the treasure. She swipes the 2 tapes, and then they take off. She puts them inside Blaster to hold. Luckily, they're same size and format and everything. And so she takes off. They notice the wet tracks from her feet, and they follow her. She gets out of the water and back on land, and then the Seacons come out of the water, and they start causing havoc. They're firing all over the place, and you know they're firing at the people, and Blaster's telling her, you know, go find cover. He transforms because he can't have all these people getting killed, so he transforms and he takes on the Seacons all by himself, and he's doing pretty good up until the point where some person's not watching their kid, and that kid goes running off, and he's going to get himself killed, but instead gets Blaster blasted. And what happens there? Blaster spits the 2 tapes into the sea, and the Seacons go after the 2 tapes. You know, because that's what they really wanted. So, you know, to avoid not finding them, he spits them off into the ocean. Transforms quickly while nobody's looking back into his radio mode. The Seacons go back into the ocean, and Jesse and Blaster hightail it out of there. The Decepticons take the people off of the island, back off the island. I think now with like their cover blown, they really wouldn't have cared too much about, you know, getting the people out of there, but I guess they still want to maintain the cover that this is an island that is a vacation place or whatever. Anyway, Blaster has the information that the 2 tapes had because, you know, they were inside him and he took the information. And so he knows what's going on there. He and Jesse are taking off back to the mainland so that they can meet up with the rest of the Autobots and then come back there with a greater force. And so the next issue, we're going to see a rematch of Optimus Prime versus Megatron. We haven't seen Megatron in a while. He blew himself up on the space bridge, and Optimus was, you know, a floppy disk for a long time, but now they're going to be back, and we'll see that in the next issue. This is Drew Bennett from Big Damn Kid. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as Big Damn Kid. You can also find me at BigDamnKid.com, and if you like this, please leave me a like, and please subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Comment, and as always, thanks for watching.